Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Claude Code. I am your host, Claude Racine. If you're new here, tell me where you're tuning in from. Also, if you're back, hit the thumbs up button. Let us know you're here. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And yeah, let's get into it. Today, I've got another Glow Getter interview with a very special client. Her name is Kari, and her story is very, very, very relatable, I'm sure, to so many women out there. And it's very inspiring. Touched my heart to hear her say what she has been through and what she's pulled herself out of and created on her own as a single mother of 3 and homeschool teacher. Cannot wait for you guys to hear her story. So here we go. Enjoy. Welcome to the Cloud Code. Hello, Kari. Welcome to the Claude Code.
Hey.
Hi. So nice to have you. Thank you for taking the time to let me interview you today and share a bit of your story.
Yes, thank you for letting me share my story.
Of course. I mean, that's what this is all about. Like, there is no me without you. So I just week after week. So if you guys don't know, in the Glow Getters Facebook group, when you do my program, we do our check-ins every Monday morning as a group in the Facebook group. And Kari is in there every single Monday. And every week I'm like, wow, wow, wow. And so I just wanted to bring you on here and just talk about your journey so far, because you haven't even been with me for, I think it's been like maybe 2 months.
Yep.
Yeah. So first of all, tell everybody a little bit about who you are, where you're from, what you do, a little of your story.
Okay. Well, I live in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I am not native to here. I'm a transplant from Minnesota, Iowa, Minnesota area.
Okay.
I actually moved here when I married my ex-husband. So my story is a little bit, I was a single mom, and then I met my ex-husband. We got married. We had 2 more kids together. We were married 9.5 years. We got divorced. It was a pretty brutal divorce. So I was back to being a single mom of 3 kids this time in a city where I have no family that's my personal family. I had my in-laws, but I didn't have any, like my parents don't live here. My siblings don't live here. Um, and I had to start over. I was a stay-at-home mom, homeschool mom. I had not worked the entirety of our marriage. And I loved being a stay-at-home mom, and I loved homeschooling my kids. And that's specifically all my girls knew, was me being home with them and me taking care of them and always being available. So
Wow.
the idea of starting over and having to figure out what that looked like was daunting and overwhelming. Yeah. But somehow I was already homeschooling a friend's kid, and they paid me a little bit. And so I was like, well, let's see if this is something that other families could benefit from. And to make a long story short, that is what I do now. I homeschool other people's kids. I have literally built from the ground up a business for myself where I'm home with my kids every day. I get to still homeschool them every day. I homeschool other people's kids every day and give those families what they want, and provide a good income for my family and support myself. And
wow.
that is what I do.
That is like, I did not know this about you at all. That is epic. See, I like attract the best, like, I'm so lucky. I have like the best kind of women as clients. Like, what? That is so impressive. Just from the bottom, from rock bottom. And it's one thing to have to start over when you're alone, but to have 3 humans that depend on you.
Yeah.
Ooh, the stress. The stress. Wow. Isn't it interesting that it's always like the mom that, yeah. It's just the way nature is designed.
Yes.
So fine, we'll take on that responsibility. Well, that is beautiful. And I'm so like inspired by you and your story right now. That's really awesome. So talk to me a little bit about what happened with your health, your weight, and what made you finally decide to hop on the Glow Getter train.
Yeah. I've always been a bigger girl. I've never been what you consider tiny. I mean, I'm 5'11", so I'm
Oh,
not, yeah, yeah, I'm tall. And so I've accepted the fact that I'm never going to be a size 2, and I'm okay with that. I love my curves. I love what God gave me, but um, I've always struggled with my weight and with eating. The nutrition part has always been a struggle with me. I mean, I remember in high school, my mom put me in it was called Weigh Down Workshop. And she was like, we need to lose weight. And I was like, more like I need to lose weight. I can see the undertone of that, but so weight has always been a struggle for me.
okay.
Um, and obviously I had 3 kids. Um, but after my third kid, I actually found a program and was able to lose like 70 pounds and get to be the smallest I had been in a very long time.
Wow.
And with that came, the energy, the drive, the discipline, my libido went up, my like all the things change, and it motivates you to keep going.
Yeah.
And I did that with 3 kids at home while homeschooling, married, all of that. And that was really great. And then we bought a house. And 6 months after buying this house, it flooded randomly, the only house in our neighborhood that flooded. Yeah, that's a whole other story. But so that stress of having to move out for a month and live with friends who were gracious enough to let me and my 3 children and my husband live with them in this small, cramped house brings on stress. Obviously, your eating is different, and I put on weight. And then my marriage hit a very, very, very difficult time. And so the last 3 years of my marriage, I got to a place where I didn't know who I was. Like I'd look in the mirror and be like, who is this person? And I had friends who would tell me, like, we don't recognize this Kari. This is not the Kari that we knew when we first met you.
Mhm.
And, their remedy for it was like, get out, go out more. And I'm like, okay, do you want to come babysit my kids? Do you want to,
When, girl, when do you want me to go out?
right, right. And I mean, I would say even before my divorce happened, I probably had hit rock bottom. I just didn't know who I was. I was a shell of myself. I mean, I was emotionally drained, physically drained, spiritually drained, mentally drained, like all the things. I couldn't even be the kind of parent that I wanted to be. And so then divorce happened. And, it's interesting, the first maybe year of going through that divorce, I actually lost weight from stress. Just, I mean, when you're taking on all these things that you haven't, I mean, I say taking on all these things. I was doing everything anyways. I was doing the parenting, I was doing the cooking, I was doing the cleaning, I was doing so, but it just looks different. And then the stress of that and court and all of those things. So I actually lost weight in the beginning. And then you kind of hit that place of like things are starting to even out and I'm starting to grow my business and I'm starting to figure out things. And then it's like my body did the opposite and went crazy. And I ended up being the biggest that I'd been even at 9 months pregnant. I'm like, and I'm not pregnant. This is a problem.
And when was this?
Right before I joined with you, I was eating not great. I was working out for the most part, but my nutrition was the problem, which that's always been the consistent problem. I guess you could say in a way I was a food addict. Like food was what made me
Yeah.
feel good. And then obviously you get done eating it and then you don't feel good. We all know that that doesn't actually fill
It's the
that.
biggest trap. It's the
Yes.
biggest. I think it's the devil's like most used trap
Yes.
and the most
Yes.
easily like I don't know, it's the easiest one to just get caught in, because there's so many ways you can justify it.
Yeah.
Where like if you're like doing drugs or addicted to porn, like in your mind you're like, "Oh, I shouldn't," and like there's just like less ways that you can justify why you're addicted to like porn or drugs. Where food, it's like, but, I don't have time. It's right there. You know what? It's just this one time. Oh, but my whole childhood, I ate this. Like, this is my culture. Ah. And the next thing you know, it's like, how do you come out of that trap? It's
Yeah.
layers of it.
And it's literally in your head. It's more a head game than it is anything else. Because food is like, we do have to eat to live in a way. We
Yeah.
do have to have that sustenance, whereas you can remove all the triggers in terms of a porn addiction or a drug addiction or an alcohol addiction or whatever other, frankly, any other addiction that you might have.
Yes.
Food, you cannot fully remove that and it be safe and ultimately healthy for you. So, and I mean, in the midst of all these things, going through a divorce, I hope it's okay to say this, but it's a mind fuck. It is just like the food thing, it's a mind thing.
Yes.
And it's my divorce, the way that my marriage ended was in betrayal, was in a lot of pain and heartache. And I didn't want the divorce in the beginning. I mean, I'm thankful I can look back now and be glad that it happened. But in the beginning, that is not what I wanted. That is not what I wanted for my kids. I didn't get married to get divorced. And so when you are walking through that, and you even have people in your life that are like, oh, well, we knew you shouldn't marry him, but we didn't tell you because. And
Wow.
it's like, how is that doing me any good now? And then also when you go through a divorce, that brings up all kinds of past traumas that maybe you didn't fully deal with and past things. It just brings up a whole lot. So I had a whole lot going on. I was trying to be a better parent. I was trying to fill shoes of two people, which is impossible. And I know that now, but in the beginning, you're just trying to like keep things as stable as you can for your kids. And so you go by the wayside. Everything about you goes away. Like the working out part never stopped because frankly, if I had given that up, I don't know that I would be here today, frankly. But so that part stuck, but everything else went by the wayside, whether I had nice clothes or whether I was, put together during the day or whether I was eating well or if I was going out with friends, all of that went away because then your sole focus becomes my kids.
Yeah.
And while that's not a bad thing, it's good to take care of your kids, but like you've said numerous times, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot give to people if you don't have anything to give.
No.
And I had hit that place. I didn't have anything to give. It was just, I had hit another form of rock bottom. I had leveled up in my parenting. I had leveled up in my business. I had leveled up in relationships with people. I had leveled up in where I was living and how we were living. But my health was the one area that I had not leveled up. And I realized it was time. If I want to be here on this earth for my kids, when they graduate, when they, get married, when they have kids, if I want to be here and I want to be active in it, I have to change some things. I can't keep doing what I'm doing.
It's just wild to me how low we have to get, to take care of ourselves. Like for me, when I saw that, it's like, wow, like how low did I think of myself to begin with? Like, where was someone teaching me self-love and self-respect and like where did I learn how to even handle things like a divorce? I've never been through one, but like postpartum depression and what to do when you feel that way. Nobody teaches us. So what do? We do turn to food. We run away from ourselves because we've never had to look at it. And these moments of like rock bottom force us to look at it. And we can either look at it like you did, or you can keep running away. And I believe a lot of women pour themselves into others because now you don't have to look at yourself. You don't have to deal with self.
It is uncomfortable to sit in your pain, to sit in your whatever it is that you're feeling. It could be anger, it could be, and my entire life, I'm an emotional person. I cry easily. I cry when I'm sad. I cry when I'm nervous. I cry when I'm angry. I just cry. That's how I release whatever it is that's
Yes.
being around inside me. And I've always been told, you cry too much, or why do you cry so much, or what's wrong with you? And even to this day, there's people in my life who cannot handle my big emotions. If I get frustrated, it's on my face. You will never not know how I'm feeling. Even if I don't say anything, you will see it on my face that like I'm annoyed or whatever. And it's just how I am. And it's hard to sit, and I was never taught as a kid to sit in my feelings and really like
No.
process them and deal them with them. It wasn't until after my marriage ended that I then got into therapy. I got my kids into therapy, and we've all started working through how to do that, because I can't teach my kids if I don't know how to do it myself. And that is one thing that I very much want my kids to know how to do, that because they have big emotions too. They came from me. Of course they do. And they need to
But
know,
we're human. That's the
right.
thing is every human has big emotions, but we're taught to suppress. We're taught, don't do that. Go to your room and you're like, okay, well, I guess having these big emotions is wrong. And like, I even found, Carrie, I don't know about you, but it's been hard as an adult being aware of this going on with emotions, like even just spotting how I feel about something. Like you feel like the negative feeling, but you're like, what is that? Am I hurt? Am I sad? Am I irritated? What am I? Because I've been so used to just shutting it off and ignoring it that I don't even know how to identify it.
We're so desensitized and deprogrammed to
Yes.
not identify, okay, I have this feeling, but what is it specifically? I literally have that exact thing happen this weekend. I'm being asked how I feel about something coming up, and I'm like, I don't, I'm happy. I'm happy that we're doing this, but also I don't know, but I don't know how to identify that. Is that anger? Is that jealousy? Is that like, I don't
Right?
give a
Like, I
crap.
don't know. Like,
I can't put it into words. Like,
no, I feel something. Like, I know that this is like somewhat making me feel not good, not
right.
pleasant. But, anyways, and I think that for me, like postpartum depression was probably the lowest I ever felt. And I just did the same thing. I ran to food to comfort me, to like somehow reward myself at the end of the day, and ended up with an autoimmune disease. And that's why I'm so passionate about this now. But when I say it takes most of us hitting rock bottom to do anything about our health, like me included, and I never judge anyone. It's like, but women like you and I who look at it and go, okay, something has to be done. Not accepting the state that I'm in, not just for me, but like for your kids too. And you don't just want to be here, because a lot of people are just being here. But like, what's the quality of you being in like alive? What's the
Yeah.
quality? Like, are you fucking exhausted? And you're, like one of the things I noticed when I was at my heaviest was all my attention was on my body. And I would walk into a room and not even be able to be like, hi, Carrie, in my head, I'm like, oh my God, Carrie's thinking that, I've gained so much weight. It's obvious. And I already look and feel my face is so puffy. Oh my God, I'm so like the inner dialogue. I couldn't even enjoy life.
You're all the time focused on yourself. You're not able then to truly enjoy your life, to truly enjoy your interactions, whatever they may be. I mean, I work with kids all day, every day. Kids, they are not shy. They
Wow.
will tell you whatever they need to tell you. Now, most of my kids are really amazing, and they've never said anything, honestly, they've never said anything negative. I mean, they're always like, oh, Miss Carrie, you look so nice, or you look so pretty, or I like your nails, or your hair's so nice today, or whatever. So I have the best of the best, but they're not shy. I mean, my kids even, they've made comments before, not to be rude, but just like, Mom, what's going on? And it's not always even about weight. It could just be about a shirt I'm wearing or my hair. Like, I think one time I put on more makeup than I normally do, and my son was like, that's what you're wearing? And I was like, yeah. Does it look all right? He's like, I mean, of course you always look beautiful, but like, that's a
Oh,
lot. And I was like, oh, okay, I hear you. But he's used to seeing me not super made up. So for him, it was like, what are we doing here? What's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah.
But then there's the flip side of that, of the example that we set when we start living and making healthy choices. Like, I mean, we were on vacation last week, and that in and of itself was tough sometimes to stick with it. But all three of my kids were like, Mom, is that something that you can have? Are you sure you should be having that?
I
And
love
like,
mini me's are running around everywhere.
yes. And my daughter even ordered like and I don't tell my kids, like, yes, we talk about balanced plates and having, how it's beneficial to have a protein and, fruits and vegetables and things like that. And my daughter ordered grilled chicken and French fries one day for lunch. I didn't tell her to. And then other lunches that we went out for or dinner, she would order like a grilled chicken Caesar salad. She's like, that Caesar salad sounds really good. This is my 9-year-old.
Wow.
Ordered a salad for dinner. And again, like,
Wow.
I don't stifle my kids from eating things. They just, I mean, I will say my oldest and my youngest both love salad. And it's not because of anything I did. They just like salad. But,
Hallelujah.
but I mean, and my youngest likes to work out with me. I tend to get up and work out early in the mornings during the week. But like on the weekend, if I'm doing it and they're awake, she'll do it with me. And she will literally do every single move. She just might not use weights, or she might use light weights so that we know that she's getting the right form. But I mean, she's like, Mom, I'm going to work out with you. Okay.
Like this is something that like you can't teach just by saying shit. Like your
Right.
kids are literally watching you and they're going to take that with them for the rest of their lives. It's like, are you setting them up to die or are you setting them up to survive? And no matter where you're at weight wise, it doesn't matter. It doesn't
Right.
matter. If you just start and you start better habits, you're going to feel incredible about yourself. And now your kids are going to be like, oh shit. Okay. Well, I guess we're working out. We're doing this thing. Mom is doing this thing.
Yep.
And really, like at the end of the day, yes, it's for us, but it's really for them. And I'm proud of you. Like what made you decide, okay, I'm doing clothes program? What was the deciding moment?
I mean, I followed you for a long time. I'd seen you on, the programs that you were on with Beachbody and things like that. Um, I just always liked your light. I felt like you had light around you. And then when I started talking to you about what you offered, okay, single, busy mom.
Yeah.
Kids are here during lunch. I'm heating up lunches. I don't have time to do something super uh, involved. If I can meal prep it, or if it's something that I can cook quick, but yet is nutritional and whatever. And so when you told me that you were like, oh, I track it for you, I plan it out exactly what you're going to eat. Literally, all I got to do is cook it and eat it. I was like, sold. I don't even care what else you offer. I'm sold. I just need, because for me, the working out comes easily.
Yeah.
That part's not hard. I will get it in. Even if I push it till 8 o'clock at night, I'm going to get it in before I go to bed, unless I'm sick. But the nutrition part, that is like the hardest part because, sugar and all the yummy things. And obviously, it takes time to detox, but the more I eat the simple, unprocessed, one ingredient foods, the more my body craves them. And the more I feel amazing. Like I know that when I, snuck that muffin last week, I felt like crap after. And that, or even like when we went out to lunch, the first one of the first days that we were there, and my parents ended up getting the fish and chips, which is all fried,
Yep.
and they're in their 70s and they have their own health issues. I got something that was on my meal plan that was, single ingredient, not processed, not fried.
It's
And
not that hard.
no,
It
and 2 hours later, they're sitting there saying, like, oh my goodness, I could take a nap. And I'm like, oh, I feel great. I got all the energy. Let's keep going.
That's that blood sugar crash.
It
That's
is.
that
Yep.
body using carbs like that and not having like true satiation,
Yep.
real clean energy in the body. And I'm glad that you bring up nutrition because it is really hard for a lot of people. I mean, we were talking about this earlier, but when somebody just says, here's what you eat, because a lot of times when you don't know, you don't know.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, what do I eat? can I have this? Can I have that? And you just go to the things that you're used to eating. You want something that's convenient and fast. And we all know that convenience equals death. But there is a simple and quick way to cook healthy meals if you are just willing to do it.
Yep.
Like, I don't spend more than 20 minutes cooking any given meal. I won't do it.
Correct. Yep. I'm not in the kitchen long either. Well, maybe a little bit longer because I have 3 children and I also have to
Yeah. And then we,
support, you know.
yeah. Yes. 3 children is a lot. And that's a lot of food to cook.
Well, and one of them being a growing almost 16-year-old. So
Woo!
yes.
Oh my gosh.
But I
Yeah.
mean, that's also a testament. My oldest son, he's seen me go through not just this program, but he saw me go through where I lost the 70 pounds. My girls were so young, they don't really remember that. But he worked out with me some then. He saw that happen. And I never pushed him like my 9-year-old. I never pushed him years ago to work out with me. He would just voluntarily do it sometimes. And then he got to be, 13, 14, and kind of decided on his own, like, hey, I want to work out. And he didn't even want to do the workout programs I was doing. He's like, no, I don't want to do those fancy things. I want to do my own. He literally went online and researched because he really wanted to, build his biceps because he's a boy. And so he went online and figured out a program to do himself and put himself on that program. And he would work out. He would set his own routine. Like I said, we homeschool, so he can work all that out how he wants. And even to this day, he's got his own little routine. I bought him heavier weights for Christmas because he's, lifting way heavier than even I am. And he's gotten into arm wrestling. And so he's got his own little routine that he does.
So
And I
cool.
feel like he wouldn't have known to do those things fully had he not seen me do it. Because his
No.
dad's not someone who, his dad doesn't work out. He's not really
Right.
into that stuff. So the example came from seeing me do it and seeing me have consistency and discipline.
Yeah.
And now that's just ingrained in him that he does it every day.
Because if we don't ingrain it in them, then they end up like us, where it's not till later in life that we're like, oh, I guess I do need to work out and watch my nutrition. And then oftentimes it's a little too late. Like my body, our bodies would be functioning different had we been in fitness and eating proper since the age of 18 or even 25, right? But no. So, to think like, oh, kids don't need it, kids are whatever. No, they need it. And the more they see it now, the more it's just going to become who they are when they grow up, and then they won't have to play catch up like us.
Right.
And they don't have to do damage control. So anyways, I am so proud of you for everything that you're doing. What keeps you going, like when it gets hard? Because I know it gets hard. I always say my program's not easy. It's simple, not easy. What keeps you going? Like mindset is huge for us. And so what kind of thoughts do you have, or what do you do to keep going?
I will get on the Glow Getters page and look at people's pictures and their wins and just encouragement from other people, or even if people have commented on mine. And I'll look at my pictures and look at where I started and where I am. And like I said, I'm one of those people that you can tell how I'm feeling. My son is very in tune with knowing when I'm having a rough day. And if he can sense it, and almost always can tell when I'm having a day where I want to give up or I don't want to do something. And he'll just come in and he'll give me a hug and he's like, Mom, you got this. You can do this.
Love him.
Sometimes he'll even, say, do you want me to do it with you? Which usually I don't. I know he's not he thinks my workouts are so fancy and whatever. I'm like, they're not, but okay. But just knowing that my kids believe in me, knowing that I'm inspiring them too, just as much as they inspire me, that's encouraging. Seeing what these other women are doing in the group and seeing that they're having challenges too and they're pushing through. We all inspire each other. We all encourage each other. And that is also part of why I went with your program, because accountability is huge, not just from our coach, but also from those who are right there in it with us. They are walking through the struggles too. It might look a little bit different. They might come from a different path, but we're all having struggles. And being able to come together and share that and share our lows and our wins and all the in-betweens, that is what is encouraging to me and helps me make it through the tough days.
I love it. So good. And it's true. We're not meant to do this alone. Life is already hard enough. It's already hard being a mom. It's, what we do is hard as far as choosing health and anti-inflammatory diet. Our society is constantly shoving unhealthy things in our face. It's everywhere. Your friends might make fun of you. Your family members might make fun of you. So to try to tread through that water alone is very, very difficult. And having that Facebook group even helps me, like I wouldn't be who I am without all of you. And you guys are part of my why. And having this group of women, knowing that you guys dedicate yourselves to like my mission, it's like, there is nothing more fulfilling than that. And so I'm just glad that it brings you the same kind of feeling and support. And oh my, I go in there and I look at people's posts and I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. And the other day I was like, I need to post in here more. Like I like letting you guys post, but I'm like, I need to get in there a little bit more too. Like, what the F? What am I doing? When have I ever said what the F?
I stifle myself from swearing all day long. So then
Oh,
the
like,
evening comes and I get around friends and I'm like, okay, just FYI, it's about to hit the fan. Like, you're about to get all the F-bombs and all the things, especially when I get really passionate. Swearing just,
oh yeah. It's
makes
like,
me feel better.
why would we not use words that are available to us in this language to really fully express ourselves? Like, doesn't
Right.
make sense. Use them all. So anyway, what is I think you already said the hardest part is the nutrition.
Yeah.
What is the best part about it for you? Like, what's your favorite thing about it? Is it the group accountability?
That's probably in the top three for
Oh,
me. I've alluded to this before. Like the workouts really, they do something for me. I mean, I've had times where, and I can't specifically speak to it with your workouts lately because I haven't had a moment like this yet. Hopefully I don't. But I've had moments where like I had an interaction with my ex-husband and it was very bad, just
okay.
very anxiety inducing.
Okay.
And I want to scream and yell and hit and throw things. And instead, I put that into a workout. I put that energy into a workout. And I can't even fully explain it, but the clarity that comes at the end of that workout, the amount of peace that I feel after that. I mean, obviously, I'm also a believer. I believe in God. I believe in, I have a very strong faith. So also during that workout, I'm also asking God, like, okay, I don't know how you want me to handle this. So bring it to me while I'm doing this workout. I'm going to put all my negative energy into this. And hopefully by the end, I've got a positive outcome. And I cannot tell you how many times that has happened. And at the end, I understand how I need to handle it. Or maybe I'm not supposed to do anything other than just sit in the peace of knowing that, like, okay, I let the negative energy go out and I can let that go for now and I can handle this problem tomorrow. But working out for me is literally like if I had depression and I had to take medicine. It is that for me when it comes to the mental clarity that I get, the drive that I get for the rest of the day. Cause I get up early. I get up at 4 a.m. to work out so that I can get it done and shower and all that before kids come. So
Savage, Kari. You're a savage. Wait, first of all, did we talk about how much weight you've lost in these short 8 weeks, if that?
I don't think we have.
Tell the listeners, please.
In just shy of 2 months, I've lost 21.2 pounds just from changing my nutrition and working out.
It's literally food is either killing you or it's healing you and fueling you. And when you don't know the difference, it could do a lot of damage. And like you were saying earlier, you always worked out,
Yes.
but sometimes not a single pound would drop. You wouldn't see any.
Correct. Yeah, because I mean, if you don't change what you're doing in the kitchen, it's kind of like that saying, I'm sure lots of people have heard it, the abs are made in the kitchen. Not, it's not solely, you cannot outwork a bad diet. You cannot do enough workouts to change what you're doing to your body in the kitchen. If you are not changing what you're eating, if you are not letting go of the junk and getting rid of those poisonous things that you're putting in your body, it doesn't matter how much you work out.
No, it's not. It's not going to respond to anything. And especially like the older we get, the weirder shit gets in our bodies. And like you could work out, but your cells are not functioning properly on a cellular level. Your body is hurting because of what you're feeding it. And this cause, every system in our body is connected. So like your digestive system's connected to your endocrine system. If there's something wrong in your gut, that's why your hormones are off. If your hormones are off, well, now you can't lose weight. You can't even build muscle. And hormones include everything: thyroid, cortisol, insulin. And making sure that these are balanced is when you actually succeed in healing your body and like losing weight and building muscle. And I think a lot of people think like, oh, and I was one of those people. I just thought like, I knew that eating McDonald's was not the best. I knew that it could possibly make me fat. But my whole life, it didn't. So, oh, I guess I'm good, because
Right.
nobody teaches you like, what is it doing to your insides?
Yeah.
And that's the part that we want to really, bring awareness to. Obviously here at the Glow Up, it's like food is fuel, and we
Yep.
got to change our relationship with it. And you're right, we have to make that decision. Well, here at the Glow Up, we make it 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Three times a day, you have to think about what to eat. That's a lot
And
of pressure.
that is also a game changer, because when you're someone like me that's focused so much on like, what am I going to eat? The food noise, that's a big word that
Food,
I hear going around, but the food noise that you hear in your head, or that you're constantly thinking about, what am I going to eat next? Because whatever you're eating is not satiating your body in a way. So you're constantly wondering what your next meal is. How am I going to, you know, how am I going to eat away these feelings? How am I going to eat away whatever it is the stress that I have going on in my life?
right.
I don't have that anymore. I know exactly what I'm eating, and I don't think about it again until it's time to make the food. And that in and of itself is a very freeing thing.
Yeah.
So freeing.
It saved my life. Like, it saved my life. Somebody saying like, here's what you're going to eat and how much, 3 times a day. Here's what you're eating at every meal. And I was like, this takes literally all the pressure, all the guesswork. I don't have to make elaborate recipes. Like, you guys, the food that's going to save you, like the diet that's going to save you, is the most boring, most simple, most basic one. And it's
Yep.
not like you have to eat like this forever. But
Right.
people who are online with ripped ass bodies going, you can eat whatever you want and look like me, that's a lie. You can't. You have to do something different to get to looking like them. And then once you look like that, then your nutrition can look a little different.
Yep.
But getting there, no, you cannot. Like, our bodies, if we're overweight, we have excess fat, they're suffering with a lot of inflammation. A lot of things, wires and things are just not working right. And we got to get that shit working right again before you can like do whatever the fuck you want with your food.
Yep.
Like I always say, it can't be about a party in your mouth, because look what a party in your mouth got you. So let's take the party out of your mouth for a few months. Okay. Let your body breathe. And then we can talk about having tiny parties every once in a while. you know?
Yeah.
Kari, I am obsessed with you. I'm so glad that I got to interview you today and that you shared your story, because it's fucking epic and beautiful. I'm so inspired by you. Do you have any last words of advice that you want to give to any woman out there who might be struggling in the same way that you are?
This struggle won't last forever. Um, and don't be afraid to ask for help. I know it's hard to ask for help. I'm one of those that will do everything I can not to ask for help. But that does not mean you're weak, and that does not mean that you are not worth it, because you are. So if you're struggling with your weight, with your hormones, with what, maybe you don't have a ton of weight to lose. Maybe you just need accountability to get your eating back on track and to a healthier place. Don't hesitate to reach out to Claude.
I love you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Women
Brad.
like you are what keeps this going. I'm so proud of you. And thank you for your time today, Kari. And I'll be seeing you on Saturday at our next group call.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you hit the thumbs up button, share the episode, and subscribe to the channel for more episodes like this. And we will see you on the next one. Bye, everybody.